Good afternoon, good evening, wherever the heck you are. Hello from the past if you're on replay, but if you're here live, hello, nerds. Today we are going to go over this week's Andrew Yang for mayor campaign. Is the Yang still the front runner? How's he doing? What's the scuttlebutt in the news about him? How's he doing on the Twitter, the search? And then I just wanted to also let you know about a private event that we're going to be having on January 30th and how you can participate. But first, let's get Andrew to warm it up. Warm it up, Andrew.
There's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and Drew, come roll with the Yang Gang. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up with. Drew Yang Gang, that's who I hooked up. Yo, there's no place to hide now that he's arrived. I'm saying he ain't playing now with this campaign. Bang, dang, it's and.
Hello, nerds. Nerds for Humanity. Oh, yeah, check this out. I'm wearing the Nerds merch. But the most important thing for this, hey, V-Lam, the most important thing for this episode is that if you are thinking of donating to the Yang for Mayor campaign, please use my link. Let me give it to you. Oops. Well, that didn't work. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, so it's tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. I'm going to leave it up there for a little bit. And the reason you should do it is if you give through that link, number one, you'll be invited to a private fundraising event with Andrew virtually. It's over Zoom, but it will be for donors only on January 30th. And I will be part of the festivities. I'm going to be kind of emceeing the darn thing. So hopefully you'll have a good conversation. You'll enjoy it. It's January 30th. I think it's around 4. What time is it, actually? I think it's going to be around 4 p.m. Pacific. No, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So go check it out. And the other thing is that if we can raise $15K through that link, we can get him back into the Nerd Zone for a public interview, just one-on-one, pretty long one, I think. And, I always love having Andrew back in the Nerd Zone. We can definitely get into things, into a level of detail and nuance that maybe we don't often get. So consider that. Now, but you're here to find out what. Oh, no. Erez is like, hey, I already donated. Oh, no worries, man. That's all good. I mean, at the end of the day, it's important that we support Andrew. If you happen to do it, 3-hour interview, that I think would cost us some buku dollar. I'm guessing, I bet if we raised $100K through that link, we could get him on for a 3-hour interview. But I think the deal with the campaign representative that I work with was that if we could raise $15K, I think we can get him on for 45 minutes. And we could get into some nuance and we could kind of make it really conversational and very natural. And, we won't shy away from the hard questions either. But so think about that. Trevor. NYC resident, if you give your dollars will get matched big time by the New York City Mayoral Fund, and you can still use this link. So keep it in mind, all right, buddy? Thanks, Trevor. Okay, Joshua says he challenge accepted. All right, Well, we'll see if we can do it. But no matter what you give, even if we don't hit the 15K, you do get invited to the private event on January 30th. And then if we do get to the 15K, we get him back in the nerd zone. Okay. So now I forgot to change one setting. So give me 1 second, because every time you guys chat, I'm getting oh shoot. I'm getting some sound, which is kind of nice, but after a while gets a little bit intense. So give me 1 second. Audio, yeah, you guys can probably hear that. Where are the settings here? I forgot to. Hold on. Don't worry if you're worried. Well, you're probably not worried about the replay people, but for the replay people, I'm going to try and cut out this whole beginning part. Sound effects. Well, I think I'll just live with it until I can find it later. Oh, it is annoying though. Hold on. I'm going to look for it now. Turn off sound effects on comments. Oh, yeah. Okay. General sound effects. Okay, here we go. Go here. You guys are like, what is this clown doing? I know, man. I know. This is so unprofessional. Well, what the hell? General. Where the hell is general? Maybe preferences. There it is. Play sounds for comments arriving. Uncheck that. Woo! Thank Jesus. George K. It is $100 minimum for the Jan 30 event, unfortunately, because it is a donors only event. Oh yeah, it's so nice, the silence. But I will make sure that I will update that link after Jan 30. I'll probably use the same tiny URL shortcut, but I'll update it so that we can accept any amount of money. But I'll also ask my campaign contact, hey, can I also get another, or can I have that get an updated link so that people can pay for anything? Or maybe I'll get a second link. So this link will be for the private event, and then I'll have another one. Okay, enough of all of that. We need to get into the nitty-gritty. All right, let's go here to, first we're gonna, so for today's stream, we are gonna go over news. We're gonna go over Andrew's own tweeting. Then we're gonna go into Twitter growth compared to his competitors, Google search activity compared to his competitors, betting odds compared to his competitors, and then I'll tell you about some upcoming shows and give a thank you to our channel members. But if you are thinking about a super chat and you are interested in donating to Andrew instead, as much as I would love the super chats, please consider donating all that money to Andrew so that he can have a competitive campaign. Because remember, his top two competitors, Stringer and Adams, have, I think, on the runway to getting like 8 to 9 million. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a dogfight but hopefully our man Andrew will come through for us. All right, let's see if I can share my screen here. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, there it is. It works. Oh, Mr. History Fan donated 3 times. Thank you, Mr. History Fan. We appreciate that. Hopefully, you use the link so that the Nerds channel can get some credit for it. Okay, but regardless, what's most important is that Andrew gets his help. Okay, now let's go here. So the first article, let me just refresh this in case anything new hit the news. So the first article is New York City mayoral candidate Andrew Yang faces social media backlash. And it's not about bodegas this time. It's about comparing BDS movement to fascism. And this was on Fox News. So let's take a look and see if we can open up what this is saying. All right, so they're saying New York City mayoral candidate Andrew faced backlash after he wrote a column in which he likened the pro-Palestine BDS movement to Nazi boycotts of Jewish businesses. In the column entitled My Vision for New York City's Jewish Community, Yang said he would be a reliable partner by cracking down on hate crimes and anti-Semitism. The former presidential candidate pledged to push back against the BDS movement, which he argues singles out Israel for unfair economic punishment. Not only is BDS rooted in anti-Semitic thought and history, it's also a shot at New York's economy. Strong ties with Israel are essential for a global city such as ours. So I think, BDS, or Boycott, Divestitures, and Sanctions, is a nonprofit founded by pro-Palestinian groups seeking to pressure Israel over the West Bank. So let's talk about that one. That is actually a tough one. That's a tough one. Because, oops. Hold on. Here we go. That's a tough one. I support Andrew. I don't know anything about the BDS nonprofit, but I do feel like, at least at the national level, and I know this is not going to be popular for New York politics, but at the national level, I do feel like our foreign policy can be a little bit one-sided in favor of the Likud party in Israel. And it would be good to either play more of a neutral role or just focus on the two-state solution and not necessarily back one party within Israel. Now, from a mayoral candidacy point of view, I can't blame the guy for sort of reiterating his strong support for Israel. Obviously, the Jewish population in Israel is pretty big, and they're going to need to, I think Andrew needs to make it very clear that he is supportive of Israel and, more importantly, opposes anti-Semitism. So nobody's going to criticize him for opposing anti-Semitism. If he compared the BDS movement to fascism, I'm guessing that was probably taken out of context. You know what? Let's just see for ourselves. Let's not assume. Let's not try and be biased for Andrew. Here's his column. So let's read it for ourselves. So he talks about small business tour, 25 years in the city. I reflected deeply on the Lower East Side as the locus of the rise of the Jewish community in New York. Hold on, I'll make this bigger so you guys can see it. The neighborhood has changed since Jewish immigrants began moving there, but the working class spirit continues to animate the community. Jewish immigrants overcame extraordinary odds. Story resonates deeply. My parents immigrated from Taiwan on a peanut farm. I'll always be a reliable partner. That's an essential goal for any leader in New York City. I'm concerned about the direction of this country. Okay. The rise of white nationalism is a threat that only seems to be growing. Okay, where's the BDS? How about we Control F that? Control F, BDS. Okay. A Yang administration will push back against the BDS movement, which singles out Israel for unfair economic punishment. Not only is BDS rooted in anti-Semitic thought and history, hearkening back to fascist boycotts of Jewish businesses is also a direct shot. Okay, so that headline was fair. He is definitely comparing BDS to fascist boycotts of Jewish businesses. So there you have it. I will let you all decide, how Yang should have talked about anti-Semitism or BDS. My preference would have been to be very strong against anti-Semitism, but I don't know if I would have singled out BDS. I don't know enough about them, but if the whole movement of BDS is to pressure Israel to implement a two-state solution and maybe limit new settlements, that kind of thing, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's that terrible, but obviously everybody has their own opinion. It's a very sensitive topic, so I'm going to move off of it before I start any controversy on my own side here. Okay, then it looks like CBS News ran a story about Yang on his plans to speed up New York's post-COVID comeback. So let's take a look at this. Dismiss. A lot of ads. Okay, here we go. New York City mayoral candidate on Friday details plans to speed up the city's comeback, saying technology can play a role in keeping residents safe. Interesting, they call him a technology entrepreneur. He did work at a tech startup. And the quote is, I think I can speed back our comeback from the coronavirus. I think I can help make New York City the post-COVID comeback city. And it's going to need to be in order for many New Yorkers to reclaim their lives. Yang said just vaccinating residents will not be enough for the city to recover, because many may not feel comfortable dining in restaurants and bars or attending Broadway shows if those around them have not been vaccinated. One way we can accelerate the process is having a vaccine passport that you can have on your phone. You can quickly demonstrate that you've been vaccinated and go into the restaurant or venue and take your mask off and literally breathe easier knowing that everyone there has been vaccinated. All right. Very nice. Makes sense to me. I'm all for encouraging people to get vaccinated, and I think the innovation or the kind of idea here is to say, hey, not once people get vaccinated, if they can prove that they've been vaccinated, then they can then very easily re-enter kind of common areas, and they would know everybody else has been vaccinated. So there's almost no chance, not, never say none, but much lower chance of transmitting or spreading the virus. So there you go. Let's see. New York Magazine, it's everyone against Andrew Yang. Let's see what this one says. All right. By the way, isn't it great that there's so much coverage of this guy? Remember we would have to like hunt and peck for news mentions of him when he was running for Prezzo? Okay, so let's see if I can make this bigger. All right. A slate of polls have put Yang, who enjoys high name recognition, in first place, and it's easy to imagine that he stays there. In his first week in the race, Yang was inescapable, appearing on The View, local radio, CNN, and making Twitter gaffes about bodegas and pizza that prompted ridicule from his rivals to put him at the forefront of voters' minds again. Yes, thank you for the rivals for attacking him for his use of the word bodega. His race tests an uncertain proposition. Can someone become mayor of New York with limited institutional support? Yeah, that's the big question. He has limited institutional insider support from elected officials, unions, clergy, neighborhood leaders, running a campaign online on YouTube, partly from the Nerds channel. By the way, as a reminder, see if I can put this thing up without completely breaking everything. Hold on. Oh no. My thing is gone. Darn it. Oh, I'll just put it in here now then. It's tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. Okay, go there. Go forth and donate. My nerds, I have donated. I would love it if you did too. And then we can, you can go to his private event and then help us get him back on this channel. All right. So, can someone become mayor? Okay, with limited support. As other campaigns stuck to Zoom, Yang was out on the streets, taking walking tours of all the neighborhoods with local elected officials, neighborhood press. Until an aide contracted the coronavirus, forcing the Yangster to quarantine. Let's see, a recent internal campaign poll, a new poll, gave him an 8-point lead over Adams and a 13-point lead over Stringer. Well, shoot, if that's for real, we might be looking at the next freaking mayor of NYC. Hopefully, he can lock this one in, man. Looks like you're in the lead. You need to keep it. It also showed Yang leading as the second choice among his rivals because it's a RCV, ranked choice voting. So he's leading for first choice, and he's also leading on second choice. He beats both Adams and Stringer by 20 points in head-to-head matchups, has the highest favorability of anyone in the field, a number that has increased over the past month. Woo! You gotta love it. All right. If the same 650K New York voters vote as they voted the last time there was an open Democratic primary, Yang will have a tough go at it. But there are 3.2 million Democrats in this town, and if he can get them paying attention to local politics, he can win. So this is why it does matter to donate, because he does need to get more turnout. Because if he gets the same hardcore New York local election voters, they're probably going to have a preference for the insider candidates. And for Yang to win, he's going to need to get people who don't normally vote, which is something like 80-something% of New Yorkers don't normally vote in local elections. They need to come out, and if they do, then the Yangster will probably win. And if they don't, then it'll probably go to Adams or Stringer, since those are kind of like the party insider candidates. The rest of the field is eyeing Yang warily, hoping the bubble surrounding him will burst. It will not, but they're hoping it will. Yang is the only candidate in the race whose announcement was followed by barbed statements from his rivals welcoming him to the contest. Eric doesn't need a tour of Brownsville. He was born there. Meanwhile, an elected official who is supporting Stringer said the city comptroller was probably having a heart attack watching Yang soak up the attention for the past few weeks. For now, it's everybody against Yang, said one operative working for another candidate. It has not gone unnoticed in Yang World. Yang World, I never knew there was such a thing, but I like it. That every time he tweets, there are a legion of supporters of Stringer's ready to pounce, usually in not so subtle overtones, questioning his New Yorkness. He's not really a New Yorker. He's only lived there for 25 years. I heard his birth certificate said he was from upstate New York. Maybe we need to get the long form birth certificate. At any rate, Yang's campaign is extremely online. He talks about Tulsi. Kamala Harris is a good friend. All right, so that's that story. Basically, everybody against the Yang. Oh, rock out. Let's see if I can add that. See, when I add it, then I lose the screen sharing, which is very unfortunate. Let me go back to my screen sharing. Let me go back to my screen sharing. Oopsie daisy. All right. That's ironic. I was talking about all this cool stuff and lost it. All right. Let me see if I can fix that. I know this is very unprofessional. Hold on. Bear with me, nerds. We're going to be right back. Hold on. I go here. And then I say, yeah, that's what I wanted over this guy. Why isn't that working? All right. We're going to have to get back to the show. I'm still getting my stuff set up appropriately. All right. Back to the business. Back to the business. All right. Share screen. All right. All right. So, everyone against Andrew. Ooh, the New York Daily News is coming to his defense, saying that, yes, Andrew Yang is a real New Yorker, and frankly, challenging his bona fides smacks of xenophobia. Ooh. Well, let's take a look at that. First of all, kudos to the Daily News and Nina Luo for, wow, a lot of ads from the Daily News. So kudos to you guys for challenging this whole like, oh, he's not a real New Yorker BS. Because I do agree, I don't know if they'd be saying that. Maybe they would, who knows. But I'm going to give us a little kudos. Oh no, that didn't work. It's supposed to have a sound of applause, but whatever. Okay. I was born on Long Island. Growing up, our family moved around constantly from Shanghai to St. Louis for my dad's jobs. After school, I moved to New York and have been working in politics here since. Am I a New Yorker? And if not, when do I count as one? I asked because last week, mayoral candidate Andrew Yang posted a video of himself shopping in a bodega. The backlash was swift, with many arguing a big, clean deli is not a bodega. The owner of the store says it's both a deli and a bodega, and they're the same thing. I mean, it's true. There was definitely no cat visible in the place he called a bodega. So I can understand why some people are questioning whether it really was a bodega, but I don't know why they're getting so angry about it. One person tweeted, anyone who thinks this is a bodega isn't fit to live in New York, let alone lead it. Yeah, so there you go. Well, yeah, he was born in Schenectady. He did go to Columbia Law, and he has lived in New York since 1996. That's 25 years in the city. Is he still not a New Yorker? So, yeah, interesting article there. How, is he a real New Yorker or not? And maybe they need to see his records of 25 years of living in New York. Maybe they're going to ask for his lease, copies of his lease or his driver's license from 1997. Who knows, man? But basically, I would say the recent news, I mean, it's generally positive to the extent that he's constantly showing up in the news. Yes, it's a little critical. The BDS stuff, the bodega. But then there's stuff that's like, hey, he's the front runner. It's everyone against Andrew. And, his UBI proposal. I would say on the news side, we're doing good. I'll take it. All right, now let's take a look at, what is it? Let's see what Andrew is talking about on the Twitters. Okay, so hold on one second. I gotta clean up these tabs. There's so many tabs here. Okay, let me refresh in case our man Andrew has tweeted recently. All right, he just retweeted. Okay, he's probably sleeping and his team's probably tired because it's past midnight over there. Today, Andrew Yang launched his plan for an effective, equitable vaccine rollout. Scroll through this thread for some highlights of our plan. What do you think, nerds? Should we read some highlights? I'm down with that. Let's make it a little bigger for all the nerds to see. Okay. We need to distribute vaccines more effectively and equitably. That is a big old needle. Don't show that to my kids. Problem: the vaccine is currently hard to get and inaccessible for many demographic and geographic groups. Limited hours, locations, languages. Locations all have different confusing websites. Yeah, that's probably true. Solution: make it easy and inclusive. Available 24/7 everywhere in every language. Single web portal for sign up. The vaccine rollout has been uneven, leaving behind some of our most vulnerable. High-risk communities are still not getting it, and many communities are wary due to a history of racist medical malpractice. Solution: actively reach out to those not being reached. Real-time data on areas, ages, backgrounds served. Empower healthcare providers who foster trust in their communities. Problem: working and socializing are still risky for all involved. People are either stuck at their home or risking their lives. Businesses will suffer until it's safe to gather. Solution: digitize your paper vaccine card for convenience and easy verification. A mobile app version of your paper vaccine card so businesses can let patrons safely gather again. So basically, if you have your vaccination and you can prove it, we're open for business. Go ahead, sit together, have some nice pasta or steak or dim sum, whatever floats your boat. I'm down with that. And then not have to wear a mask, be able to eat inside, because all of us in this room are vaccinated, because we all have proof. And of course, there is a risk, though. People faking their vaccination card. Maybe we'll ask Andrew about that if we can get him onto the show. Speaking of which, if you are thinking of donating to him, it's tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. There it is. It's back. tinyurl.com/nerds.nyc. That's where you donate to Andrew. Don't go to his regular website, because then the nerds won't get any credit. All right. Ooh, now it's showing up, but it's a little on the high side. So let me bring that bad boy down to the bottom corner. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, so finally, we need to learn from this moment and apply it to future pandemics so we can respond smarter and or prevent it entirely. Learning from the COVID-19 playbook. In the first 100 days, gather best practices to prevent future pandemics and respond smarter. So I would have to say this is probably more detailed approach to handling the pandemic than even we had from the White House Coronavirus Task Force about how to get the vaccinations out there. I don't know if you guys remember, but that White House Coronavirus Task Force of the previous administration basically said, well, FDA approved it, now it's up to the states. And I think that has not worked out so well. But to Biden's credit, he now has like a 200-page plan. So, and Fauci is now like free to speak science, which is great. So yeah, but let's get back to Andrew. What else is he tweeting about? Oh, I think I need to do this. I need to go back, I think. Hold on, nerds. Hold up. All right, here we go. You generally feel better if you do something about it. This is one of those Andrew, like, fortune cookie tweets. I love them. They're a little on the short side, and they're kind of thoughtful. I love it. Like, very Yoda-like. Oh, Lucy Liu. I think she was an actress. Ally McBeal, I think. Lucy Liu and me for a live virtual voter registration on Saturday at 11:30. We'll talk about our shared love for New York City and the importance of registering. So go ahead and register for that one if you want to go see Lucy Liu. And then a week after that, we'll have the January 30th private fundraiser, which you can all participate in if you give money through that bad boy right over there. tinyurl.com. Okay. /nerds-NYC. Wow. We are now over 2,000 volunteers for the campaign in NYC. Want to join us? You can do it right here. And then he was on CBS using ice cream trucks to distribute vaccines, reviving the city we love, and his candidacy so far. Should we watch a little bit of that? Let's watch a little bit of it together. Oh, Tamar is saying, I love Lucy Liu. Tom, do your homework. She is massive as an endorser. Okay. Thank you, Tamar. Lucy Liu is apparently a big deal. I remember her from a show like in the 90s, but if she's still a big deal, I'm all for it. So thank you, Lucy. You're welcome to come on the Nerds channel if you ever want. I don't know if Lucy's a nerd. She seems way too attractive. She would not qualify for full nerddom, unless maybe in high school she whipped out the braces and the glasses. Then she might have a little more cred. All right. So we're gonna maybe watch this video. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this video going.
The race to be the next mayor of New York City has a familiar face. Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang announced that he is running, and he joins an already crowded Democratic primary. Many consider Yang to be a top contender due to his name recognition and large following from his...
No. He is not a top contender. He is the front runner, according to like the last 3 freaking polls. Bro is leading. Oh, man, every time I do that. Sorry.
Time on the campaign trail. But will that be enough come June? For more...
Oh, Joe says nerds are attractive. I agree. We are. Freaking all of you are beautiful. You guys are hot.
More on his bid. Andrew Yang is here joining me now. Mr. Yang.
Oh, there's a nerd.
So You had, by many measures, a successful primary, even if not victorious. You became friendly with several of the other candidates, and following your election, your name was actually discussed for potential cabinet roles. So why are you running for New York mayor instead of joining the Biden-Harris administration?
Ooh, good question.
Well, first, let's celebrate the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm still riding high from that, Lana. But I'm running for mayor of New York City because the city's in crisis, and I believe I can help. The reality is that the coronavirus has devastated New York in a way that's singular throughout the country. We're down 700,000 jobs. The unemployment level is twice the national average. Over 25,000 New Yorkers' lives have been lost. And I think I can speed up our comeback from the coronavirus. I think I can help make New York City the post-COVID comeback city it's going to need to be in order for so many New Yorkers to reclaim our lives.
Oh, I like it. I like it because he's acknowledging this is a top priority for New Yorkers, and he has very specific plans on how to get it done, and some of them have innovative ideas. Now, I don't know about this ice cream truck proposal, but let's see. It doesn't sound like the cleanest, most sanitary place to get a shot, but maybe he's alluding to their capacity for cold storage.
So let's talk about that. I'm wondering what specifically you believe you can do to help New York City recover from the pandemic.
New York City is all about people coming together, Lana, and we need to get the vaccines into people's hands and arms and bodies over the next number of days. But even after you have a number of people vaccinated, the question is, how will people feel comfortable coming together in a restaurant or bar or Broadway theater?
All right, this is basically, I think he's going to be reiterating what we just went through on Twitter. So I'm going to speed up the playback speed and see if we can get to the ice cream.
And so one way we can accelerate that process is by having a vaccine passport that you can have on your smartphone, where you can just very quickly demonstrate that you've been vaccinated, and you can go into that restaurant or venue and then take your mask off and literally breathe easier, knowing that everyone there has been vaccinated. That's the kind of measure that New York City is going to need to accelerate the comeback, because the city is dependent upon people feeling confident they can come together. As one number, we're missing 60 million tourists who supported over 300,000 jobs here in New York. I think that I can accelerate the process.
Very smart. So he's talking about, hey, if New York can establish itself as the safe post-COVID city, we can get these tourists back, and they can start spending some more money, which is good for the city. And yes, as a reminder, I am playing this at a fast chipmunk speed, just so that we can get through it, because it's a long interview.
Through which people feel excited to come back to New York.
And what about vaccinations? We know that New York City has struggled to keep pace with the number of people who are in the categories that are currently eligible to receive vaccines, and that there simply isn't enough supply either in the state or in the city. What would you do about that?
It's immensely frustrating for so many New Yorkers, Lana. People had their appointments canceled. And to me, it's common sense that you would want New York City, which is the most densely populated city in the country, to have these vaccines at least as early as any other part of the country. So we need to be moving heaven and earth to get vaccines to folks right here in New York City. And then as they get vaccinated, the hope is that we can streamline this process, because right now people are frustrated.
Where's the ice cream?
It's a bit of a hodgepodge in terms of being able to figure out where you should go to get vaccinated and when.
You're always about thinking outside of the box. I heard you say that you would like to utilize ice cream trucks.
Oh, there we go. We found it. My God, these guys, they got me to sit through this whole interview to get to the part. So this we will play at regular speed for the full ice cream effect.
That aren't being used right now because of the winter time to do mobile vaccination units. Trevor Noah says that you stole that ice cream truck idea from him. Care to respond?
Well, Trevor's full of good ideas, but it's not a new idea for either Trevor or me. There are actually communities that are already repurposing ice cream trucks to distribute vaccines, because they have obviously refrigeration capacity, and many of them aren't in use right now. So we need to be trying to get vaccines to people in their neighborhoods. The reality is that many New Yorkers aren't that mobile. They may be old and infirm. They might not be able to easily hop on a subway or bus. So if we can get a vaccine to them in their parking lot close to their building, either via a vehicle or by having a site that's right on their block, That's what we have to do. This is a city of over 8 million people in very, very different circumstances. And if they can't come to the vaccine should go to them.
All right. So it's not like a ice cream truck is riding around the city playing the music. Well, that would be kind of funny. But it's basically a way to sort of have the ice cream, the vaccines transported to a neighborhood, and then I'm guessing they would have an injection area nearby to give you the jab of life. All right. So that was a little bit about Yang on Twitter. I would say, in summary, old Yang is doing a pretty good job on the Twitter. I'm very impressed with him putting down some plans for us to react to. And I like it. I like the details. And, whoa. What is this? Is this him retweeting? Oh, these are people replying to that one. Okay, so this is the Andrew one. Yeah, so he's good. He's got a lot of details. He's got getting endorsers. Lucy Liu's apparently a big deal. Did not know that, but very much appreciate Lucy Liu endorsing him. And there you go. That's him on Twitter. So now let's move on and go to how is Andrew doing on Twitter versus his competitors. Mr. Adams, Mr. Stringer. All right, let's take a look-see. Let's look at the data. Okay. So, if you... Oh, this chart. Hold on. I got this. I can resize it. I can resize it for you. I thought I could at least. Hold on. Is that working? There we go. A little further, Tom. There. A little further. Hopefully that works. Yeah, I think that works better. A little further. All right. So these are Yang's total followers. And as of this live stream, Mr. Andrew Yang has 1.96 million followers on the Twitter. And it looks like Mr. Stringer has 11,900 and Mr. Adams has 2,800. So, yeah, our boy Yang has definitely more Twitter mojo. Now, in terms of, you might be thinking, oh, well, but Yang started with a lot because he was running for president. Is he actually growing? It looks like on Jan 21, there we go. Let me make sure you guys can see it. There you go. Now you can see everything. All right, Jan 21, Eric Adams added 24 followers. Scott Stringer added 15 followers. And Andrew MF Yang added 5,800. God damn. Woo. Boy's on fire. On Jan 22, Eric Adams added 45. Mr. Stringer added 75. And Andrew MF Yang added 5,900. My God, if Twitter could decide the New York mayorship, we'd be done. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And there's millions of New Yorkers who do not hang out on Twitter. And sadly, a lot of them are going to be voting, and they may not be voting for the Yang. So we need to keep working hard. But at least on the Twitter side, our man is strong, and hopefully he can leverage that Twitter reach to get some more voters and people to donate. Okay, now we're going to look at the web searches for Stringer, Adams, Wiley, Yang, and get a sense of are more people searching for one of these candidates? And yes, it would appear that Andrew Yang is being searched for about almost 8 times more than Eric Adams, and about 10 times more than Maya Wiley, and more than 10 times more than Mr. Stringer or Mr. McGuire. Interest for Andrew Yang, a lot of interest in Jericho, Plainview, Chappaqua, Larchmont, and Syosset. And yes. Okay. Now, what are people searching for when they search for Andrew Yang? Related queries? They're searching for BDS. What is this BDS that Yang is so anti? Governor's Island, Mike Bloomberg, interesting. Michael Moore, Seven Brothers Famous Deli. Seven Brothers. I think I've been there. Is that the place with the corned beef hash? Or the corned beef sandwiches? Maybe. Not sure. Scott Stringer. What are they searching for? Scott Stringer. The second most related search for people who search for Scott Stringer is Yang. Andrew freaking Yang. Yang for mayor. And then they search for Wiley, NYC Mayor, and Eric Adams. And Eric Adams, they're searching for Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Mike Conley, Eric Bledsoe stats. Why would they be searching for Eric Bledsoe stats? Anyway. Maya, they're also searching for, people who search for Maya are searching for Scott Stringer, Harlan Mandel, and Catherine Garcia. And people searching for McGuire search for Morales, Wiley, Adams. Oh, no Yang action for people who are all searching for McGuire. So it looks like the Yang action has the biggest overlap with Scott Stringer. Maybe that's why Scott's always like hating on him, because he's feeling the heat of the Yang. All right, now let's move on to how you guys doing over there? Are you guys holding up okay? Because I still have some more data. I don't know if you guys can handle the data, but I've got more of it. So let me just take a little breaky break. You guys all right? You guys feeling the Yang? As Tiz your master says, feel it. Feel that Yang. All right. Mochalek says, dude, I can handle your data. Bring your freaking data. All right, man. You guys want the data? I'm going to get you that data. All right. Oh, by the way, since we are streaming in the evening on Pacific time, and our homies on the East Coast are probably in La La Land, because they shouldn't be going out, please remember to like and share this stream so that when they wake up, it will be recommended to them. What is your prediction? Do you think Yang will pull it off? Well, I will tell you what the gamblers think. But before I do that, I need to tell you, I need to thank the members who support this channel, because without them, we wouldn't be able to grow. And we ran an ad on the David Pakman show, which was funded by people like our executive vice president of the Nerds for Humanity Nation, Kristen Slevin. So thank you, Kristen, for helping us grow the channel. And now we're almost 19,000 subscribers. So we're pushing on 20,000, which would be a great milestone. So thank you for the members for helping us invest in promoting the channel. So that was Kristen at the VP level. We got to thank V Lamb, JM Fat Lamb, Soldier One. Hold on. I got to make it so you guys can, my head doesn't block you. There we go. Soldier One, Laura Lane, Joshua Frick, Patrick Dunn, Bike a Bike, and Mindful Skeptics. Can you guys see that? Can you see Mindful Skeptics? It feels like Mindful Skeptics got cut off there. Well, trust me, Mindful Skeptics is on this thing. He's right under. Okay. His name is Boyce, and he the man. All right, now, hardcore level. We have Mike, Gene, David, Tracy, DK, Landline, Phoenix, Jackalego, Kirsch, Mr. History Fan, Byram Hess, Mona, Susan, Yang Deng. What? Just jumped. Tony Perella, Robert Wu, Dean L, Stat Nerd, Galessa, Jalacia, Jay Perrin, and J. Brian Anderson. And then, at the verified level, the entry-level nerds, welcome entry-level nerds, Helen, Lisa, Sugar, Albert, Brandon, Yes, Brian, Peter, Arez, Your Mommin, Sophia, Jadwiga, Gail, Shake and Make, Mike CK, Doris, Emerald, Nell, Lori, Ben, Roger, Lisa, Christina, Vaughn, Rastafasta, Ryan, Jessica, James, Jalopy, Emma, Joel, Spirited, Hui, Stephen, Ira, Shoni, Spy, Philip, Jameson, Ender the Third, Dr. William, Karen, Annalisa, Monica, Alex, Ardent, and Mai. And I want to give a special shout out to our most recent nerds who just joined in the last couple of days. So let's see, who are our newest nerds? J. Brandon Anderson, 2 days old nerd. Ardent. Ardent was a very generous super chatter. My boys are still licking their chops because they got all this money from the super chats because I promised to share it with them. And for the live stream where my kids were on. And one of them is going to be buying gems, some virtual goods for his Brawl Stars game. And the other one is buying another trail cam because he caught a coyote and a deer on one and he wants to have more locations. Mai and Alex and Annalisa and Monica and Karen and Jay Perrin are all in the last 7 days. And then on the other side, our oldest members are Mike, V, JM Sap, Helen, Lisa, Fat, Jean, Sugar, and Kristen. Woo! All right. Time for some betting odds. More data in your face. Here we go. Who is most likely to be mayor of New Jack City? The number one person is Andrew Yang. So the yes price is 37 cents, whereas the yes price for Eric is 22. So almost double the chances of Andrew becoming mayor as Eric Adams does. And then same with Stringer. They're kind of similar chances. And you got Raymond McGuire, who's moved up. I don't remember Raymond being in this spot before. I thought Maya was, but it looks like Raymond's kind of moving up in the world. We need to keep our eye on Mr. McGuire. But so far, Andrew has the best chance. But I will say this, it's not a slam dunk for sure. Definitely higher chance than anyone else by a material margin, but not so much that we can kind of rest on our laurels, as they say. All right. I think with that, I'm going to give you guys an update on some shows coming up. and then I'll do an Ask Me Anything. So if you have any questions for me, just put them in the chat. You can ask me whatever you want while I talk to you about some upcoming content on the Nerds channel. If you're not subscribed, you should. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to be on the new Progressive Voice channel with Joshua. So he's always a cerebral, thoughtful interviewer and guest on our channel. So I'm excited to be on the new Progressive Voice channel with Josh. And then on Sunday, I have Problem Solver Politics coming onto the Nerd Zone. And that's with Cardin and Cody. So excited to see them. I lost a bet to them because I assumed that Yang would have been in the Biden cabinet. And they were like, no way. And, well, they were right. He did not end up in the cabinet. I believe he was offered an opportunity to join the Biden administration. But he elected to go for New York City mayor instead. And you know what? It looks like, based on those betting odds, he might have been the smart one. So we'll see. And then next week, on the 30th, we have the private fundraiser for Andrew. That's invite only. You have to donate, I think, at least $100. But you get to go to an exclusive event with him. And he will often talk at length and with a little bit more color than he does in like kind of big press interviews. But on this channel, we will have the Melanated Council of Yang, which will be very exciting. And as part of my efforts, and I hope all the Yang tubers do this as well, is invite Yang tubers who have smaller channels than yours, invite them onto your channel so that you can increase awareness of their channel. And that's just more voices talking about Yang. So pay it forward with Humanity First YouTube collabs and have smaller channels come onto yours, or go on to smaller channels and help them grow their platforms. And then on the 31st, I have Rio Publican coming on our show. And that'll be fun because Rio is obviously a Republican. I'll be curious to hear his thoughts on the whole Biden first week and that kind of thing. So those are some of the upcoming ones. And I do also have a very exciting one that I got Fred the Felon coming on Feb 7th. And then we have Ariel's on the Feb 7th as well. And then most interestingly, on Feb 13, I have 2 American history professors. Professor of American history at Georgetown University and another professor of American history from Bowdoin College. And they are both specialists and focus on the history of American political parties. So if you want to know about how in the world did we end up with these 2 parties, what was the world like before the Republican and Democratic Party, what has been the history of third parties for all the you Unity folks out there, we're going to get some people who spent their whole lives studying American political history on the Nerds channel. It may not be the most sexy, exciting conversation, but frankly, it's the one I'm looking the most forward to because it'll be really fun to kind of learn about how this all came about. All right, with that, I'm going to see if there's any questions for the AMA, and then we'll move on. Let's see. Oh, man. I can't. There's a lot of chats here, but I think a lot of this is you guys talking to each other. All right, here, let me find one. Okay. Hey, Tom, I really enjoyed your Daniel Markovits interview. Yes. 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 Honest Hybe. Habe. Honest. Oh, that must be Honest Abe. Like Abe Lincoln. Or maybe not. Either way. Hold on. I think I've shown this this guy asking you guys to donate enough. We'll ask you later. But yeah, the Daniel Markovits interview. He is a professor at the very famous Yale Law School, big brain place, and he wrote the book called The Meritocracy Trap, which I'm pretty sure was recommended to me by Jonathan Herzog. I think he recommended it to me, and I read it, and I was like, whoa, this is a really thought-provoking book. If you guys haven't read it, consider picking it up, or you can find it on Audible, or if you want, go search on YouTube for Nerds Markovits, and you'll see the conversation I had with him, which I really enjoyed, and I think Daniel did as well, and we really go into the counterintuitive analysis, which is, yes, the poor are getting poorer, but also the winners, the elites, are kind of self-destructing because their wealth comes from their labor. The way they make more money is by working more, and they're kind of working themselves into a pulp, and then they're potentially like over programming their kids to compete in this kind of like, ultimate rat race, and the bar keeps going up, and so at some point, like, it may not be sustainable. So that was the most interesting thing about that Markovits interview, is that it's kind of a cliche that the poor are getting poorer, but what you don't often hear is that the rich are getting richer, but they're also getting unhappier, and they may not be living like fulfilled lives. So like everybody's kind of screwed. And then later at the end of the interview, he talks about how UBI may be the most logical way to get through it. Let's see if there's any other questions for moi. Looking through here. You should have Marianne Williamson on. I would love to. I've asked her a million times. If you guys want to tweet at her and ask her to come on, please do. Sometimes, like, these big time people, they will be more likely to come on a show if other people ask them to than if I ask them to. So if you tweet at her and then you tag me, then I'll chime in. But I haven't had luck getting her to give us the time of day. But this is also part of the reason why we're trying to grow the channel and taking the channel member money and promoting the channel so we can get more subs. And then when we ask people like Marianne Williamson, we'll be like, well, we have 25,000 subs, or maybe someday we'll have 100,000 subs, and then more likely she'll do it. Okay. Oh, Scoop to what? When do you think the stock market will crash? Since Intel recently went down 8% in the stock market. Well, I generally avoid trying to predict the stock market because I do believe that most information is reflected in the current stock prices. So it's very hard for someone to predict what will happen next, because if they knew, they would either buy or sell stock, and then it would raise or lower the price, and therefore there's no point in trying to beat the market. I know there are a lot of people who believe they can. But to answer your question, if I had to guess, when will it crash again? I don't know. Maybe in the next couple of years. Could be longer, especially if it hasn't crashed during a pandemic. As we get more vaccinated, there will, in my opinion, only be more optimism and economic growth. And that would mean more prospects for companies. So the next crash may be a while from now. But you know what? Even if there is a crash, generally, it's best to hold your stock and wait it out, because if you look at the history of the stock market, even whenever there's a crash, it always recovers and then grows. You just have to wait it out. So avoid panicking. As an example, after the initial pandemic scare in February, when it was starting to spread in March, my mom was saying, oh, I should sell all my, she was saying we should sell all of her savings that were still in the market. And I said, Mom, you know, panic selling is generally not a good thing. And if you look at the stock market, it did recover, and it's actually even stronger now than since it went in February, March. So long answer is I don't think it's going to crash anytime soon. And when it does, I think it'll recover. You just have to wait it out. Okay. Any other questions? When is the New York election? It's in June. That's a pretty lame answer. So I will tell you, the New York City mayoral election is on June 22nd. Sorry, the primaries are on June 22nd. The actual general election is in November. However, almost always, whoever gets the Democratic Party nomination will win the general, since New York is a largely Democratic city. So, official general election, November 2nd. But if Yang wins June 22nd, the Democratic primary, then, you know, he's in a really, really good spot. Okay, let's see. Next question. What's your favorite digital analytics tool? And many thanks for having these live streams. Well, first of all, Seal Bear, I appreciate that you are here with us watching. We need the audience to justify Mrs. Nerd letting me stream on a Friday night. May have to give her an extra fancy bottle of wine for Valentine's Day. But my favorite digital analytics tool, well, I'm biased. I used to work there, but YouTube Analytics is pretty cool. And if you have a YouTube channel, it's kind of crucial. So that's my favorite analytics tool. Wow, a lot of people talking about stocks. I don't think it will. NVIDIA will kill this earning. Maybe, because maybe there's just like more people stuck at home and gaming and streaming and stuff. So, yeah, maybe. Wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. General Yang Gang Hangout. I don't know if that's a question, but I think they have those, and I haven't participated because I'm super busy. Oh, by the way, I am so busy. I have been spending a lot of time on the ofthepeople.us project, which has a kind of alpha version available if you want to play around with it. And it's basically for local candidates to get more national volunteers. So the local candidate can set up a profile, add their picture, the little blurb, and they could set a number of volunteers they're looking for to help their campaign. And then supporters can browse different candidates and then volunteer, raise their hand to volunteer for any of them, and then communicate with the candidate. So if you want to try it out, go check out ofthepeople.us. It's an all-volunteer effort. Myself, Ian Schaefer, Sam Skonsberg are kind of the main volunteers. But then lately, we've also been getting some new help from our friends at Demo Draft. So, we're kind of merging Demo Draft and Of the People. So check out ofthepeople.us. Okay. See if there's any other questions. Aljan says, well, that I wonder what that would be like if Donald Trump entered the nerd zone. I don't think it would go well. Because I think he would ask me, I would ask him questions. He would give me some like BS answer, and I would try and fact check him on the spot, and then he would probably get mad and just like leave the interview. Okay. A lot of people talking about stocks. Okay. Oh, yes, Soldier One. That is exactly what I'm saying. Now, I generally believe in efficient markets, so I don't really like trying to pick one stock. I will do like some stock picking for fun, but in terms of my own retirement, it is heavily diversified to match the market. And it's a very boring portfolio, but it's my retirement. I don't want to gamble with it. And it has been growing quite nicely because the market has, so all good. Let's see. What do you think about Yang's New York cash proposal compared to full-on UBI? I think he would have wanted to do full-on UBI, but that costs a lot of money. And one of the problems with city politics is there's only so many ways you can raise revenue. You can't, like if you were in a federal role and you had a federal VAT, man, you could literally raise, hundreds of billions of dollars very, very easily. And you just can't do that as a mayor. You can raise a little bit with like property tax and maybe some other surcharges, but you're not going to be able to get access to all of that like Amazon, Uber, and Facebook revenue, right? So that's the problem. Like I think, the NY cash, it's $1 billion though, so it's no small potatoes. Let's see. Dr. A is saying, I believed in Yang's warnings and bought some Tesla shares and has given me 400. Yeah, well, that is true. I have not gotten no 400% from my index fund. But I will tell you, if you look over the long term, it is generally hard to beat the market consistently. Joshua is saying, remember the last day to register as a Democrat is Feb 14th. Scoop to what? Do you think it's true that Biden had more executive orders than other previous presidents? Do you think he's overstepping, or do you think it equals good? Well, let's take a look. Biden executive orders. Because I was looking at this the other day, and, I personally like them. I thought they were very reasonable. But let's look at it together, because he has done 30 in the last 30 days. Hold on. So let's see here. Make it a little bigger. Restored collective bargaining power and worker protections.
Hello, nerd.
Oh, Ralph, welcome as a subscriber. Restored collective bargaining. Let me move that down here. For power workers and worker protections for federal workers, laying the foundation for $15 minimum wage. What in the Sam Hill just happened? Did I just get advertised on? Come on. Come on now. I'm trying to go over the freaking executive orders. All right, we're back. So, okay. Restoring worker protections. Calls for assistance to those who are struggling to buy food and missed out on stimulus checks. Accelerates manufacturing. I'll make it bigger, guys. There we go. accelerates manufacturing and delivery of supplies for vaccines, testing, and PPE. I think that's using the Defense Authorization Act or Defense Production Act, I think. Directs FEMA to expand reimbursement to states to fully cover the costs of National Guard. Establish the Pandemic Testing Board to expand U.S. coronavirus testing capacity. Establishes a preclinical program to boost development of therapeutics. Enhances the nation's collection of sharing analysis of coronavirus data. Directs FEMA to federally supported community vaccination centers. Directs Department of Education and HHS to provide guidance for safely reopening and operating schools. Calls on OSHA to release clear guidance on COVID-19. Requires mask wearing in airports. You know, I mean, that ain't bad. Oh, there's more. Okay, let's see. COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force. Presidential directive to restore Americans' leadership, promote resilience of future threats, and advance global health security agenda. 100 Days Masking Challenge. Stops the U.S. withdrawal from WHO with Fauci as the head of the delegation to the WHO, the World Health Organization. Creates a position of COVID-19 czar, reporting directly to Biden. Extends the nationwide moratorium on evictions, extends the pause on student loan payments, rejoins Paris, cancels Keystone, rescinds 1776 Commission, prevents workplace discrimination, requires non-citizens to be included in the census, fortifies DACA, reverses Trump restrictions on Muslim countries, undoes Trump's expansion of immigration enforcement. Okay, that one would be interesting. Like, I am all for comprehensive immigration reform, and as a son of immigrants, I support legal immigration, but reducing enforcement of immigration laws, I don't know. Not sure. Well, that's sort of the former Republican in me, I guess. Halts construction of the border wall. That's fine. It was kind of useless. Extends deferrals of deportation and work authorizations for Liberians. Requires executive branch appointees to sign an ethics pledge. Directs OMB director to modernize regulatory review and undo Trump's regulatory approval process. All right. You know, so I think in general, my view is those executive actions all seemed super reasonable. I think your question was, yeah, but there were a lot of them. And most of them were COVID-19 response stuff. So I think it's fine. I mean, imagine waiting for Congress and the Senate to agree on any of that COVID stuff. Like, those home slices don't get a lot of stuff done. Let's see any other questions. Favorite political news podcast. I'm going to answer that question, Trevor, but it's going to get some people who they're not going to like my answer, but I'm going to keep it real because we might be nerds, but we also are honest. And my favorite news podcast, politics podcast, is someone that the Yang Gang doesn't often like, but his name is Chuck Todd, and he has the Chuck Toddcast. This is the Chuck Toddcast, and it's awesome. I love it. I feel like the guy lives and breathes politics. Yeah, maybe he comes off a little bit as a know-it-all, but he knows a lot. Okay. Favorite color is blue. Let's see. Any other questions for Tom? What's the best way we can help Yang win? I think donating would be a big help. I also think if you can volunteer and do the phone banking and text banking, and like I bet they probably need some people like doing stuff on the street as well. So I would do two things if I were you. I would donate. You know what's coming. I would donate using tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. And then I would volunteer on the andrewyang.com site. And then I would ask any friends and family living in New York to donate because their donations are matched like 8-1. So that's my answer. Let's see. Oh, I missed. Okay, next question. Do you think, let's just hide that bad boy. Do you think Kamala Harris will be a shoo-in? No, I don't. I totally do not. Oh, we got a super chat from Varun Teray. Love it. Hold on. So let me answer your question. Varun Teray, thank you for the super chat. I don't think she's going to be a shoo-in. I think that she's actually not that strong of a candidate, and I think it's going to be a wide open primary in 2024. Okay, let me highlight old Veromes. I would like an update on MAGA brother, please. All right, well, MAGA brother was supposed to come on the show last Monday, this past Monday. He ended up partying too late because Singapore took the coronavirus very seriously. So they require anyone coming in from outside the country to get tested and quarantined. They have to get tested before they got on a plane. They have to then get tested after they land. Then they have to be quarantined under supervision in a hotel for 2 weeks. And then even after that, they all wear masks. But the good news is they can get in groups of up to 8. And I think he was socializing because MAGA brother is very much into the ladies. So yeah, that's why he missed our show. But you know, that's what it is. Okay. Let's see if I can get back to my questions. Wow, there's a lot of you guys are chatting up a storm in here. I can't think. Is that the first one? Okay, here we go. Here's the next one. Dr. A, will Yang stay as mayor for 8 years? I don't think the mayoral term is 8 years. I think it is 4 years. So I guess you're asking, like, if he got elected, would he run and get for a second term? It's hard to say, but it is possible that he could serve a great 4 years, do amazing work, and the whole country may demand that he do more. And then New York City will have a friend in the White House. So that wouldn't be the end of the world. New York wins. They get amazing 4 years of reform and energetic Yang leadership. And then America gets a great president. So I would take that. Let's see. Next question. Oh, fan of the earth saying, try DuckDuckGo. We'll cut out a lot of ads. So here's the thing. I am not a fan of ad blockers because I feel like you're getting the content for free. And the reason is because they're getting paid by these ads. If everybody blocks the ads, then the content creators, the writers, the websites won't be able to earn any money, and then there'll be less content. So I don't love ads, but I feel like, that's part of the deal if you want free content. But I do know a lot of people like DuckDuckGo. So if that's your jive, I respect that. Okay. Scoop says thank you. You're welcome, Scoop. Jamie's saying I didn't win the Mega Millions tonight. I'm hoping no one did, because then the prize will be huge. Do you think there could be a red wave in 2022? Really interesting question. Historically, I believe the trend is always whoever wins the White House, whatever party wins the White House, ends up losing seats halfway through the first term of that president. We saw that with Obama, and we saw that with Trump. So why wouldn't we see it with Biden? I don't know. I mean, it could, in a way, like maybe Biden might be the one president who doesn't get like the opposition party wave 2 years in, because I think Biden's going to be super reasonable. I think a lot of the hardcore kind of radical Moggins are going to be like, you know what? He's not that bad. You know, I mean, I know everybody was saying, oh, he's going to fall over and he has dementia and he doesn't know like his left from his right. But I was watching that inauguration. I was really impressed with the whole thing, but also with President Biden's inaugural address. I thought it was amazing. And especially when you compare it to President Trump's farewell thing at Andrews Air Force Base, which was just a terrible. And then he ended with like the YMCA song. It was so strange. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions. Trevor Hayward saying, this is boring at this point. Yeah, it's the end of the stream, man. This is just Ask Me Anything. So, best books you've read recently. I just finished The Promised Land by Barack Obama. It was 700 pages, and it was great. Now, in fairness, I did the audiobook on Audible, so I didn't read it. But I listened to the entire book, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Oh, no. Mocha Lex is like, no, Chuck Todd. I knew it. I knew you guys wouldn't like Chuck Todd. I try not to, but I usually put some tissue paper or a tissue, because I have found that when I was younger and I did remove, like sort of clean out the nose with the finger, I would get sick. So I think doing that is a very bad, unsafe practice, because your fingers, when you're touching everything and then you're like putting it into your nose, like bad idea. So I would advise against it and use some tissues. That's what they're there for. All right. Thoughts on Ben Shapiro? I mean, he talks fast. He seems like a good communicator. Probably a little more conservative than I am these days, but I like anybody that's willing to have an open conversation, and I think he had Yang on his show, and so I appreciated that. Let's see. Any other questions? Ooh. Trevor says donation bomb will be incoming in early Feb. Yes. Thank you. And I'll make sure. Now, that link right now points to the Jan 30 event registration. But after that event is done, I'll make sure we have a permanent one for the Nerds channel. Let's see. I think I may have gone through most of our questions. I love it, because I'm running out of voice. All right. Do you think RCV is understood by New York voters well enough for it to work? V, thank you for the question. Also for being a longtime member. Yes, I do. I don't think it's easy, but I think people will get it. And it's nice that our guy is generally number one for first choice and second choice. So even if they don't get it, looks like he's got strong support. All right. Wow, this chat. You guys have been chatting it up. What do you think of Yang's position on Assange? I don't know what he said about Assange, but I'm not a huge fan. On the one hand, I feel like, of course, more transparency is good. But I also feel like he was kind of an agent, like he was an intermediary for Russian intelligence. And I don't think the Russians were releasing information because they were just trying to be transparent. I think they were trying to hurt Hillary's campaign. So for me, that Assange thing, and then of course, I don't know if it's true, but apparently he's wanted for other crimes. So yeah, I don't know what Yang thinks, but I'm not a fan of him. I'm guessing it was not a long note, David. I'm thinking that Donald's not a writer. I mean, he's more of a Sharpie scribbler. Who's your favorite co-host of The View? I think Whoopi. I mean, Whoopi's super reasonable. She's got a strong opinion, but she's also like is very likable and doesn't lord it over you. I don't know if Meghan McCain is still on there, but I always enjoyed them sparring. I always found that kind of interesting. And she's Yang Gang as far as I'm concerned. I'm pretty sure Whoopi's Yang Gang. But lately, I think Meghan McCain has been very pro Yang too. Have you taken Calculus 1, 2, and 3 when you were younger? I took Calculus 1 and 2. I think it was a requirement to get a minor in economics. So I did it. And I did it over the summer at Georgetown. Maybe just Calculus 1 was a requirement. I didn't really love calculus, to be honest with you. I think I enjoyed geometry more, and definitely microeconomics. Book recommendations. Well, I'm in the middle of this book called The Long Fix. It's a total nerd read, but if you're interested in why American healthcare is so effed up, The Long Fix is a pretty good book. Check it out. But before you do that, I would read Obama's Promised Land first. Let's see. What was your major educational background? Love your background. Thank you. Frankly, I don't know what half of this means. I was a undergrad in economics, minor in economics, and my major was in history. And then I got a master's degree in business administration, where I took mostly stuff around strategy, for my electives. Is micro considered math? I don't think mathematicians would consider micro math. I think micro is considered microeconomics that uses some math. If anything, it might be an applied math, but I would definitely never try and assert that microeconomics is math. I'm sure a lot of math people would be like, come on, man. That's like kindergarten. All right. Please consider sharing and liking this stream. It does help us grow the channel and have this stream get discovered. And also, if you are open to donating to Andrew's campaign, it's tiny URL. What the hell is it? It's getting late. It's getting late. Oh, shoot. Oh, mama. It's tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. I'm pretty sure that's it. All right. So go give money there. You can go to get invited to a private donors only event on January 30th. I'll be there with Andrew. And then if we raise enough money, we can get him back on this show. So there you go. Oh, wait, here's a question. Wow, there's a lot of call outs. So let me clean this up for you guys. Okay. Do you remember back in summer when Yang promised to fight Kurz if he had to and go to war in September-October debates, and he flopped? What do you think happened? I don't remember him promising to fight Kurz and stuff, but I do think I remember him saying he was going to get more feisty. You know, there's two explanations for that. One is that the team decided that being too feisty would not be in his interests. And the other explanation is that, you know, you have these plans, then you're in the moment, and then you're feeling like you're just not feeling it. And you're feeling like, well, I might come across too dickish. So could be any of those things. But, you know, at the end of the day, I don't think it would have changed anything. I think Biden, oddly enough, was the only candidate that would have potentially beaten Trump because he's so moderate and he's so reasonable. And frankly, he might be the only president in 2021 who can bring this country back together. Oh, I got a super chat from Soldier One. Ha! I'm going to show this to Mrs. Nerd, saying that, hey, look, the nerds appreciate these long streams. All right, so let's see if there's any other questions before I wrap up. Yay, Soldier One. Tisha Master says, I had to take calc for comp sci. Yeah, calc is just sort of like, everybody has a requirement to take calc. I don't know, I did it. I think someone helped me. And it was so weird because she helped me out a lot as a tutor and then invited me to dinner a bunch of times. And I was just too ballless. So many times when I was in my younger years, I was given signs. And I was ballless. So one of the things I've told my boys is it only takes 5 seconds of intense courage and amazing things can happen for you. So sometimes you got to make the move. I don't know how we got into that topic, but have you noticed that Andrew's answers in interviews are less straightforward and more political sounding? Well, maybe, and I can't blame the guy because he's in the lead. So he doesn't really need to take too many chances. Now you could argue that, well, hey, that's not the Andrew Yang that I want, that I like, but that's the Andrew Yang that might win. And ultimately, yes, part of the attraction of Yang is the straightforward talk, but the other attraction is the innovative policies and leadership. And, you know, if he has to play it safe and be really careful about his language because they jump on him for any random thing like bodega or the BDS stuff, then I don't know, maybe that's worth it. I'm okay if he wants to play it a little safer. What is your day job? I work in product management for a technology company. So whenever I heard Yang talk about artificial intelligence and software and technology, I tended to agree that the power of technology is incredible. I think in the long run, it's going to make all of our lives better. But I do also agree that it will be very disruptive to a lot of people, and they're going to need a way to smooth out that disruption, and basic income is a great way to do that. Scoop is saying, I'm trying to get a minor in econ. I think it's great. I think if you're in college, micro, macro, I loved it. I find that I still use it. You know, I mean, I don't actually like do the problem set type stuff, but all of that thinking still works. Do you think we can be complacent for Andrew's mayoral run? I don't. And here's why. For him to get the $1 billion basic income pilot, he's going to need to win by quite a margin so that he can demonstrate that he has a mandate to make that happen. And that means he's going to not just need to win, but he's going to have to win by a good chunk. The second reason why we can't be complacent is if Home Slice loses, it will be very, very difficult to recover. So we can't lose, and we need to win by a lot for him to get what he wants to get done, because he's going to end up raising taxes probably on property. He's going to add surcharges to like Amazon boxes. Like, people are not going to love some of those revenue generating ideas. But so in order for him to kind of bring that home, he's going to have to say, no, hey, look, I won by some huge margin. People want this. So that's why we should not be complacent, and that's why we are raising money with tinyurl.com/nerds-nyc. Why do I hate math? Well, I think a lot of it is the way it was taught. I think it was taught in a way that wasn't that fun. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, fuck. Yeah. That sucked. Not only did we lose to the Rams, but we didn't. That wasn't even a good game. It's just garbage football. Terrible. Let's see. How's your brother? He's okay. He's very sad. He seemed to believe that there was some kind of storm that was going to come on inauguration, like at 12 p.m. And he was talking about, well, you know, at Trump's farewell speech, there were 17 flags. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but he seemed surprised that Biden was sworn in. I was like, what did you think was going to happen, man? And I think he thought that suddenly this hold the line people would arrest Nancy Pelosi and drag her off the inaugural stands and have some kind of like citizens arrest. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But yeah, so my brother, he's very sad that Trump lost. He's very mad at Democrats. And he says, hey, I really hope Biden doesn't fulfill his promise of open borders. And I was like, Biden never promised open borders. Like, where the hell are you coming up with this stuff? But, you know, he gets his news from strange places, in my opinion. Okay, I think we got through all of the questions, because you guys are your endurance is freaking incredible. All right, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. All right, so now remember, please share, like before you go. Don't go until you can hook a brother up with a like and a share. Okay? Need that to get this stream seen by our East Coast brothers, because they need to know that that we're here and that we did all this this mayoral stuff. All right? So thank you in advance for liking. And if you, oh, yes, Jen liked it. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. And I'll be on New Progressive Voice tomorrow. And then Sunday, I think we're having PSP in the Nerd Zone. And then next Saturday, we're doing that private Yang fundraiser event with Yang himself. And oh, yeah, Soldier One's right. Share it on Twitter. Appreciate it. All right. You guys keep it real. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, nerds.